Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today we have another good-looking puzzle. Surprise, surprise. I think I say every puzzle we have is good-looking because I wouldn't be doing them if they weren't good-looking. So, anywho, this one is called Elementary Geometry by Walker WC. Again, I'll always get this probably wrong, so whichever one it is, apologies. Anyway, so the name of the title of this thing makes obvious sense because we have the geometry going on for each of our little pieces of our puzzle here, and probably going to take some sort of elementary deduction as to how we can work all that out. So that said, let's jump into the actual rules and see what's going on. So we've got standard Sudoku rules apply. So every row, every column, and every 3x3 box contains the digits 1 through 9 once each. Then we've got Renban lines. So digits along a purple Renban line must form a set of non-repeating consecutive digits in any order. Now, all of our shapes are Renban lines, so these 4 digits, whatever they may be, just have to form a consecutive set of digits, and they cannot repeat. They don't have to be in any particular order. Same goes for all of the other geometric shapes we have here. Then the only other rule set we have are Kropki pairs. So digits in cells separated by a black dot are on a 2-to-1 ratio. So look at any of the black dots you wish to look at. These two up here, whatever this digit is, this one is either half or double of it, 2-to-1 ratios. Digits in cell separated by a white dot are consecutive, so any of the white dots you see here just have to be consecutive digits, i.e. difference of 1. And then not all dots are necessarily given, so there is no negative constraint to look upon here. So that's it. So looks to be a fun one, so let's just jump right into it and see if we can get it figured out. The link, as always, is in the description below. So, where are we going to start with this thing? And the first thing I saw was this guy down here. This seems like it's the most obvious place to look at this thing, because there's very little that this can actually be. So, we know for basic black Kropki dots, there's 2 groupings that can be used, and there's certain just can't be used. So 5, 7, and 9 obviously can't be on black Kropki dots because you can't double or halve them and have normal Sudoku rules. Another set would be the 3 and the 6 pair, which have to go with each other. They can't go with anybody else because you can't double or have 3 or 6 in any other way other than the 3, 6 pair. And then we have the 1, 2, 4, 8 groupings. So this clearly has to be from the 1, 2, 4, 8 groupings, and we cannot have the middling digits on the ends, and we cannot have the extreme digits in the middle. So we at least get a grouping of possible digits right off the bat. Now, in terms of this shape, which is 8 cells, so we're going to know that there's 8 different digits on this shape. And we're going to know that there's only 1 digit that isn't on it. So it's either going to be the 1 or the 9. It can't be anything in between, because if you leave out a 2, let's say you also have to leave out a 1 to make the Renban work. So I don't think we can use anything with that at the moment, but that is what seems to be going on in this situation. Now, the other place to look is here. Again, we can't do a 3, 6 pair because they can't work together in succession like this. We have to go with the 1, 2, 4, and 8. And again, the middle can't be the extreme digit. Now, the ends, we can't go as far into as we can for this one, but we do know that up in here, we have to have a 2 and a 4, because it's either going to be a 1, 2, 4 in some order, or it's going to be a 2, 4, 8. So 2s and 4s are always present. If the 2s and 4s are always present here, it's going to look over here and tell us that this cannot be from any of the 1, 2, 4, 8 combo, so it must just be the 3, 6. Okay, now, what does that get us to? Well, it gets us to some information that this 3, 6 pair is going to give us. We know that these 2 digits must be consecutive with either the 3 or the 6. So they're either 2, 4, 5, or 7. Well, we have a 2, 4 pair looking up here, so this cannot be 2 or 4. So this has to be a 5 or a 7, which is going to force this to be a 6, and this the 3. Therefore, this can't be 2 or 4. We could have also said the same thing looking here, going this way. it couldn't be 2 4s on either side of it. That said, we do know now that we have this triangular Renban geometry that has a 3, it has a 5, it has a 6, and it has a 7. It therefore has to have a 4 at some point in one of these two remaining, because we have to be able to connect the 3 to the 5, 6, 7. The other digit that can be on there is an unknown. It either is a 2, so it would go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or it's an 8, and it would be a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So those are our options there. Now, can we do anything further with that? Looking at it, I don't quite see anything that we can continue to use for it. Maybe we can figure something out about this white crop, because we got a bunch of stuff looking at it now. So what could this possibly be? There must be at least 1 or 2 options that it's limited to, right? Because it can't be 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7. So it has to be from 7s, 8s, and 9s, which means it has to have an 8 on it, which means actually this doesn't have an 8 on it. So we know this is a 1, 2, 4 pair. The 2 is in the middle. And let's get rid of all of this extraneous information. Now, the 2, well, okay, this can't be a 1, because if this is a 2 and this is a 1, well, this has to be a 2 as well to be consecutive. So this is 4 and this is 1. Therefore, this digit has to either be a 3 or a 5 to be consecutive with that 4. What else? I don't think any of these other white Kropkis are really giving us, and this one is sort of interesting, but we don't have enough information in this region yet to really play with it, because we know this is 3 digits in a row, because they're all connected. So, where's the next place to look? 'Cause I don't think we can do much with this Kropki, or this Renban, excuse me. Because technically this could be anything from a 1, 2, 3, 4. The 1 and the 2 would have to go over here, obviously. And this would be a 3. Or it can go up to 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess what we can say, it does not have an 8 or a 9 on it. I'm not sure if that gives us anything to really work with. No, I don't think it does. So I don't think we can do much more with this geometry at the moment. Can we start to rule out anything on these other black Kropkis? Because we do have a little bit of reduction now that we have these 2s and 4s. So either one of these could be a 3, 6 pair. There's nothing that necessarily removes those from option. Now this one cannot have a 4 in it, so it can't be 2, 4, or 4, 8. So the only other option would be a 1, 2. On the flip side, this could be a 3, 6 pair. And since this can't have a 2 on it, it can't be a 1, 2, or 2, 4, so it could be a 4, 8. Does that do anything for us? Oh, well, let's look at this white Kropki here on the bottom then. This can't ever be an 8 because it can't be consecutive with any of these other digits. Neither one of these can be 6s because they can't be consecutive with each other. This can't be a 1 because it can't be consecutive with the 3 or the 4. So we can pare all this down, which means if this is a 2 or a 3, this is either a 1 or a 6. This is a 3 or a 4. This is either a 3 or 6 or an 8. So we did get these down a little bit. And we actually do have a 2, 3, 4 triple, I just noticed here. I don't know if we can use that for anything, but it's there. No, I was going to say we could maybe think about this in terms of where does a 1 go, because we know we can't have a 1 in any of these, and now we can't put a 1 on this Kropki because it would be a 1, 2 pair, and that would break this 2, 3, 4, but there's still a possibility of this, this, and this being a 1, so it would be nice if we could rule this one out, that we know this would have to be the 1, but that doesn't seem to be in the cards at the moment. So what else do we have? This white Kropki is something that's adjoining something else, but there's still multiples it could be, because if this is a 6, this could be a 5 or a 7. If it's an 8, it's a 7 or a 9, so that's not super useful. Can we use this geometry now to figure anything out? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if this was a 1, that would make this a 2, this a 3, and this a 6. The other way to look at it would be, if this is a 6, this would be 6, 3, 4, 8. Do those have anything in common with each other? What do we say is 1, 2, 3, 6. So 1, 3, 6. It would have to have a 2, a 4, and a 5. So remember, 2, 4, 5. If it's a 6, 3, 4, 8, we've got 6, 4, and 8. Again, there would have to be a 5 on it somewhere. So we do have to have a 5 on here. I don't know that that does us much good, though. Because what does that tell us? Anything? I don't know that it does. Because if we put a 5 on here, in any of these spaces, yeah, there's nothing looking at this at the moment, so just noting that it has a 5 isn't necessarily useful to us. Now, if this is a 1, let's think of it that way. If this is a 1, this is 3 and 6, we said. So these have to be from 2, 4, and 5. The 5 would have to be here because we have that 2, 3, 4 triple. This would be a 2, and this would be a 4. Well, that's a 2. We can't put a 2, 4 like this because that would break this. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 6. 1, 3, 6. We have to have 2, 4, and 5. Yeah, this would have to be the 5. This would have to be a 2, 4 pair to break this. So that doesn't work. So this is just the 6. 3, 4, and 8. That 3 makes this a 5. And that makes this 7 and 5. There we go. Now we know this has to have a 7 on it because the remainder of our row makes that so. So there's a 7, 8 here. And therefore this is a 9. Okay. Not bad. Now again, we still don't know what these are yet. We haven't quite gotten there. But we can remove the 5 from here. Okay, so now that we have 4, 6, and 8, we know we have to have a 5 and a 7. One of these must be the 5 over here. Oops, wrong one, because this one can't be. The 7 could be anywhere. And what's the other digit? Let's put all the options. We need a 5 and a 7. And then we either have a 3 or a 9. This couldn't be 3 or 5. This can't be 3. Oh wait, 3 4s we already have here. Let's just finish this. I was focusing over here and I didn't look over here. This has to be 2. This has to be 4. This has to be 8 and 1. I don't know that that necessarily does anything for us at the moment, but, well, it does something with this geometry. We'll get to that in a second. But these were the options that we could possibly have here. And I don't know that we can take it any further at the moment. Unless we look at this white Kropki dot. If this is 9, we get 8 and 7. That would work with this geometry. And like I said, I'll come back to this geometry in a second because we know, because there's a 1 on it, we know some things about it. If this is a 7, this could be 8, 9, or 6, 5. And if it's a 5, it has to be 6, 7. Wait, this can't be a 9. Now that I'm looking up here, if this is 9, we said this is 8. No, it doesn't have to be. That's not true. And we don't have to continue. Well, we do have to continue because no, we don't. No, I'm going to keep flip-flopping until I get it right. Yes, we do know this can't be a 9 for multiple things that are looking at each other. If this is a 9, this does have to be 8 and 7 because it cannot be 9, 8, 9 because we have a 1 on here. So we cannot ever put a 9 on this geometry. And if this has to be 9, 8, 7, we just made an 8, 7 pair that's going to break it. So this is not 9. Okay. Then what does that mean? Well, again, this, if we're looking at, I'm gonna go through the options here because I think we might have more info coming out here than we will if we just look at this as overall. If this is a 5, this has to be a 6. And this could either be a 5 or a 7. If this is a 7, this could be a 6, and then 5 and 7, or it could go up to the 8 and 9. Because again, it couldn't be 7, 8, 7 because it would break this. Again, this can't be 9 though. We just said that because we have the 1 on it. So what were the options? It was 5, 6 with a 5 or a 7, or it was 7, 6 with a 5 or a 7. And those are the only options. This can't be 8. So this is 6. Yeah, because again, we break this digit. If we do 7 up to 8, we can't go up to 9 because of the 1, and we can't go down to 7 because we break this. So this one here, sorry, has to be 6. Okay, there we go. Now let's look at this geometry, because we know that this entire geometry is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We already have the 1, the 4, and the 6. So we need 2, 3, 5, 7, and 8. And hoping we have enough going on here that's going to reduce these numbers. These can't be 5s. This can't be an 8. This can't be a 3. This can't be a 7 or an 8 or a 2. Anything else that we can eliminate? I wish we could, because we're getting close to some triples where we might be able to pot something here. But I don't quite see it there. This can't be a 2, actually, because if this is, we have a 1 here, so if this is 2, this has to be a 3 to be consecutive, but we already have a 3 here. So that's not 2. So we do have a 5, 7 pair, which means this is 3. These are not 3 and 7. They are a 2, 8 pair. Okay. Let's continue our work, or let's try to at least. This is a 5. This could be 4 or 6. If it's a 7, it could be 6 or 8. That doesn't really help us, does it? No. All right, so it looks like we've gotten where we can get so far with our geometry. We still don't know what the final verdict of this guy is. And I'm looking back on it just to make sure that's accurate. We just know there has to be a 5 on it. And a 7. But we do not know if the final digit is a 3 or a 9. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to think about that for a little bit longer just to make sure. Okay. Now, with any of this stuff that we did, can we go back here and see anything? Because again, we said we could have, it could be a 1, 2, 3, 4. And these would be 1 and 2 in some order. And this would be 3. That's still completely acceptable. It has to be 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm being blind. There's a 5 here looking at all of these. So these are 1, 2, 3. And therefore this is 3. These are not. Okay, there we go. We don't have anything else quite looking at that. Okay, so this is the 1, 2, 3, 4 because of that 5. If I would pay attention, I would notice these things sooner, but that's okay. What else do we now have to look at? keep wanting to look back at this, but I don't know if we have enough information here yet. Because this could just very well be a 1, 2, 3. There's nothing preventing that. It could be a 2, 3, 4. It couldn't be 2, 3, 4 this way, obviously, because of that. It could be 3, 4, 5 if it goes this way. Well, it can't be 3, 4, 5 because we can't use a 5. And we can't use a 6. And it can't be 7, 8, 9 because we have the 8 here. So the 8 would always have to be in the central point. It can't do that if it's 7, 8, 9 or 7, 8, 9 the other way. So it is a low digit. So it's from 1, 2, 3, and 4. We said this cannot be 4. Therefore, this couldn't ever be 2. That 2, 8 would also showcase that. This can't be the 1 or the 4 either. Okay. So it's either a 1, 2, 3 or a 2, 3, 4. Is that accurate? This can't be a 3. Keep paring it down as we can. Wait, that could have been a 3, sorry. 3, 2, 1. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2. Or we can come the other way. Yeah, so those are the options. But the point is, we have a possibilities of 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4 in some combination. So we must have a 2 and a 3 on here. So therefore this can't be a 2. So that's an 8 and that's a 2. Did that do anything else? Not quite yet, but that's okay again. So we know there's a 2 or a 3, so this is not a 3. So we do have a 9 on this thing. We know this is a 5, 7, 9. And what is this? Well, this has to be a 1, 2, 3, or 4 as well, doesn't it? Because we have 1, 2, and 3, and 4 looking into this box, into the top part. So we need to be able to put all the 1, 2, 3s, and 4s here. This can only be the extreme version of what's left over from the 1, 2, 3, or 2, 3, 4s. Okay. Yeah, so then this has to be from the 5, 7, 9 subset, and it can't be a 5. So it's either a 7 or a 9. Okay. So we're getting 5s and 7s and 7s and 9s kind of in some areas. So there's going to have to obviously be some way that they're going to work each other out at some point here. I was looking at this column, or this row, seeing if there's anything on it that stood out to me. Is there? I was looking mostly at the 9 because obviously none of these can be 9s. Is there some quirk with how, if this were a 9, it would force this to be a 9? But that works perfectly fine. The other way I would think, if this is the 9, yeah, it forces this to be 7, this to be 7, and then we get a 5, 9. Okay, so that doesn't quite play out as I hoped it might, but what do we have left then that we can work with? Oh, we said a 4 had to be on here, right? I didn't mark it because it was cross-border. It's either a 2 and a 4 or a 4 and 8, so this can't be 4. We might as well get those things as reduced as possible. Anything in this row that we're missing that we can set, or the column if I can look straight through. And the column has less options, so it's probably the better place to look. We need a 1, we need a 5, and we need a 9. only thing that has any real value there is that one of these has to be a 9. Because if you think about the 5, we know the 5 can't go here, but it could go either one of those two places. And the 1 can go in every single one of those spots. Let's mark these 2 and 3 as well. This can't be a 2. So we know one of these is 2. Okay, so marking that kind of helped a little bit, because I probably wouldn't have thought about this being a pair of 2s, even though it's right there staring at me. Is there anything that it does to these final Kropkis that we have here? Because if we're looking at this guy, we know it can't be a 1-2 pair because we've got a 2 here. Is there anything else we can say about it that it can't be? It can't be a 2-3 again because we have that 2. Could be 3-4 or 4-5. Obviously, it can't be 5-6 or 6-7 or 7-8, but it also could be an 8-9. So no, I don't think there's anything there that we can really chow down on, so to speak. Yeah. Okay, how about this guy? Is there anything here? Again, it can't be 1-2, 2-3, or 3-4. It can't be 4-5. It can't be 5-6. So it has to be from 6, 7, 8, and 9. Let's put those in, because I think, yeah, we 6, 7, 8, 9, we get a quad, and we can reduce this guy. It can't be 6 or 8, so we do end up getting a 7-9 pair, actually. So we get a 7-9 pair plus a 6-8 pair. And we do get a 7-9 pair looking up this way as well. So that actually did some work for us. That's good. We know we need another 1 or 2 other than this one, and it can't be up here, so it has to be down here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, we have a quad of now down here as well. But let's finish this up. This has to be from the... This is just a given 8, I believe it is. Yeah, 8 is the only digit left. Can we take that any further? I mean, it puts an 8 in one of these two, but that's, again, not going crazy for us at the moment. Okay, what are the final digits here then? Maybe there's something, if we look across this row, that we can use. We need a 1. The 1 can be in these two spots. We need a 4. 4 can go anywhere. And we need a 5. Again, the 5 can go anywhere. So that's not great. The only reduction is that this can't be a 1. So we can put this as a 4-5 if we want to get cheeky about our markings. So let's see. We've got to be able to use our clues. So let's focus on that. We know one of these is a 4. I've got to remember that. I hesitate to mark it as such because we're crossing over a border. And that can get dangerous if you forget. So it's either a 2-4 or a 4-8. I don't see the use there at the moment. Again, these have to be from 5, 7, and 9. Oh, well, one of these two has to be a 9 then. And so none of these can be 9. So this is 9. We could have also just looked at, well, no, because we would have said one of these two is 9. One of these two is 9. So we have a couple of cross-border markings that we need to keep an eye on. And again, we said there was a 1, 2, 3, 4 quad here, and we now have an 8 and a 9. So these, what do they have to be? They have to be 5, 6, and 7. Nope, they just did not want to be helpful, did they? Because we can't reduce any of those to a usable amount. Oh, let's look here, though. I mean, this is a little bit of something else. One of these two has to be a 3 because of this the row. So this can't be a 3. So this is either 1, 2, 3 or 2, 3, 4. This can't be a 1 anymore. Okay. And what else? Trying to see if there's a correlation to how these end up being and what it could do. Because if we find out this is a 2, it then essentially means that the 2 goes over here. But I don't see that being, again, something that we can currently use because we have to figure out something a little bit more. Clues, 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 clues. What clues do we have that we have not used? Five, 7, and an 8. We need an 8 in this row. Okay, there we go. It's something. With that 8 being here and figuring out this other stuff, we need an 8 in here somewhere. So it has to go here. We could have also just used basic Sudoku on that one. Maybe that's something we should do real quick just to make sure that there's not something obvious sitting out there lurking. Not seeing anything just yet. One of these is a 3. There's a 3 in this region we can figure out because we know one of these was a 3, but that doesn't matter anymore because we did something with it. But these 3s look at this. So this is 3. Let's continue to push on this. Hopefully we can find a bit of Sudoku that gives us what we need. We know about our 4s. Not much going on those. We don't have much in terms of 5s. 6s. Again. I mean, we can type these in as 5, 6s, and 7s. I was hoping we could get some sort of combination here. Well, no, I thought I saw something I didn't. So, okay, if that's an 8, this has to be a 9 now, because that was the only other option from 9. So that's 9. This is not 9, which means this is 9. That's 7. This is 9. Okay, that's going to hopefully move us further along. So this is Sudoku. I just didn't get up to it yet. Where did I stop it? 6s or 7s, something along those lines. Let's look at our higher digits again then. How about that 9? No, I mean, one of these is a 9. We knew one of those was a 9. And we get kind of a multitude of digits that can be 9s. I mean, technically, those can't be 9. This can't be a 9 because it would force an 8 here. So one of these two is a 9. That's just getting us into X-Wings that aren't being of too much use at the moment. All right, so what do we have left? This 5, 7. Okay, here we go. Look at the 8 and 7. That 8's going to trickle down to the 6 and the 8. It's going to get rid of these 8s. It's going to push an 8 here. There we go. That's a bit of movement, which is lovely. We've got to be done with our 8s. Yeah, we are. This has to be 8, which means this has to be 9. I almost didn't know how to count. I figured it out at the last second. This one's the 9 now. And we still do have our X-wing of 9s left over at the moment. Now that 7's also going to look here and gets our 5 and our 7. This can no longer be 7. This can't be 6. This has to be either a 5 or a 6 by our column, and it can't be 6, so this is 5, this is 6. Get a 5-7 pair down here. And we can remove that little dot. We don't need her. What about these guys? We need to have a 1 up here somewhere, right? We do. It's 1, 2, and 4. Okay. Well, this can't be 2 or 4. So this is our 1. And this is the other 2, 4 possibility in this region. These are now given as, what, 5 and 9? 5 and 9, and we have a 5, so let's get rid of our 9s now. They're all done. Good. There we go. We're starting to move, 5s, 5s, 5s. There we go. This is a 5, which means this is not a 5. One of these two is a 5, but that didn't quite get us an X-wing. Oh well. It was close though. What about these last 2 digits on this row? We need the 1 and we need a 4. Neither one wants to go, does it? 1 on 4. This is from 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It can't be a 1, so it's 2, 3, or 4. And again, that doesn't quite get us there. What about these 2 digits? Let's look at the lowest possible options that we have and see if those help us out. Yes, they do. 7. So 7's here, 6 here, 7 here, 5 and 7 will get us going, and a 5 and a 7 here. Let's go back down through our Sudoku, because I keep finding bits of the Sudoku, but I'm finding it in the harder ways of finding it than I need to be finding it. We can just click on digits. So yes, this is a 7. So we got everything from 7, 8, and 9 done. This has to be 6. This has to be 6. This has to be 5. We've got a 1, 2 pair left, and we got a 1 here. So this is 2. This is 1. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3 and 4. Now this can't be 2. Oh, we'll do it this way. This one can't be 1, so it's 4. Therefore, this has to be our 3. Did we get a 2, 4 looking up into here? Doesn't look like we did at the moment. But this has to be 2 or 4 to finish off a row, and we have a 4 down here, so we can do it that way. 2 and 4 and 2 and 4. And that's going to give us our 1. And this is going to be 2 and 1. So we can just kind of go through and finish off what we've got. This has to be 4. This has to be a 1 for the column. This has to be a 3 for the box and the column. That finishes our 3s. We need a 1 in one of these two, and we've got a 1 here, so let's put a 1 in, and 4. And now we've got 2 digits that are just given. What are they going to be? 6 and 2. Hey, there we go. You solved the puzzle. The solution is correct. So we got through that one. Took a second to find a couple of things, but other than that, that thing flowed quite well. As the title said, it was quite a nice use of geometry to go along with our elementary knowledge. So, anywho, excellent puzzle, as usual, and hope you all enjoyed that one. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.